Have you ever wondered what happens when motorcycle racing takes an unexpected turn? Get ready for an exciting journey into the world of two-wheel adventures, with thrilling twists on the track and in the stories we have for you today. If you're revved up and ready for some wild stories, hit that subscribe button because we're about to unravel the moments that define the world of motorbike racing. Ready to roll? Let's kick it into high gear. At the top of our list, we have an absolutely insane moment that unfolded during a thrilling motorbike race. Next up on our Crash Chronicles is a tough one involving the well-loved rider Marc Marquez. It's the 2020 Spanish Grand Prix, and Marquez is rocking a fantastic race. He's pulling off some seriously cool moves, climbing all the way from 18th to 3rd place. Now that's a skill on display. But here's where things take a wild turn. With just 4 laps to go, disaster strikes. Marquez loses control of his bike's rear end in a big way. It's like he went from being a hero to zero in a split second. The bike throws him into the air, and he crashes hard onto the track. A pretty scary scene, to be honest. He landed on his right side, and his bike went skidding across the track like it had a mind of its own. As if that wasn't enough, Marquez's wild ride continues. He bounces around like a rag doll, taking hits all over his body. To add a shocking twist, the wheel of his own bike smacks him on the head. Commentators are in disbelief, saying, "Oh, he's gone again. That's a big crash. He's not saving that one."
Marc Marquez is down. He's gone again. Oh, that's a big crash. He's not saving that one. I hope he's all right because that's a fast one.
Marquez is clearly in bad shape, especially on his right side. The aftermath? He's rushed straight to the medical center for surgery. This mega wipeout forces him to sit out the rest of the 2020 MotoGP season, putting a severe dent in his career. This crash is hands down one of the most jaw-dropping and terrifying moments we've seen in recent times. Let's dive into a terrifying motorcycle crash that happened during the 2020 Austrian Moto GP. It was like something out of a movie, wild and terrifying. It's only the race's second lap, and Yann Zarro and Franco Morbidelli are in a heated battle for position. They're zooming towards turn 3 at a mind-boggling 300 kilometers per hour. Suddenly, they make contact, and it's chaos. Zarro's bike goes flying into the air, and at the same time, Morbidelli's bike crashes hard onto the track. But here's where it gets even crazier. Zacco's bike takes off up the hill, heading straight for Valentino Rossi and Maverick Viñales, who are riding just behind. The bike even breaks in two from the massive impact and shoots up the track like it was shot from a cannon right into the path of other riders. Morbidelli's bike is soaring through turn number 3, and you can bet people are wincing. Rossi somehow manages to avoid all the bike pieces and debris. Miraculously, both Rossi and Viñales narrowly miss Morbidelli's bike, but sadly, it hits a camera operator standing at the side of the track. The poor guy ends up in the hospital with serious injuries. This crash is a stark reminder of how dangerous motorcycle racing can be. For many fans, it's the scariest thing they've ever seen in MotoGP. Now let's dive into a really tough moment in motorbike racing known as a high side. Luca Marini faced this brutal experience during the 2020 French MotoGP race. He was gearing up to make a move downhill. But then, everything suddenly went haywire. Out of nowhere, and at a crazy speed, he lost control of the back of his bike. It happened so fast, like a blink and you miss it situation. He got tossed into the air, and the crash seemed to stretch forever. Picture him twisting and turning as if gravity decided to take a brief vacation. Finally, he landed hard on his back and leg, sliding down the hill for an eternity. Other riders had to swerve to avoid both him and his bike. Marini eventually stopped, but it was evident that he was hurting from the harsh impacts he had just experienced. This moment underscores how demanding and risky motorbike racing can be, highlighting that even a championship leader like Marini is not resistant to the challenges of the race course. Let's talk about a wild incident that went down during the 2017 Moto3 race at the French Grand Prix. It was like something from a crazy movie. Almost half the riders got caught up in a chaotic crash. Everyone was cruising along, thinking it was another turn in the race. But surprise! Out of the blue, things got super slippery. Earlier in the race, another bike left a ton of oil on the track, especially at one of the fastest corners. So, when the other riders came around that corner, they were in for a shock. The track turned into a slippery mess, and before you knew it, riders were falling off their bikes like a bunch of dominoes. It was pure chaos, involving almost half of the racers. Keeping track of who was in the mix was like trying to solve a puzzle. Riders were sliding into each other, flying through the air, banging into other riders and bikes. Basically, a complete mess. They had zero control over their bikes, crashing into the gravel trap. This crash quickly goes down as one of the craziest and weirdest moments in motorbike racing history. Next, discuss a wild twist during the 2022 Moto2 Portuguese Grand Prix. The race was cruising along, and then, out of the blue, the racing gods decided to throw in a surprise. A sudden downpour of rain turned the track into a real mess. And did things get crazy? In one of the most intense championship moments, many riders were tearing through Turn 2 at a crazy 160 miles per hour. But here's the kicker. The rain and the high-speed corner turned out to be a bad combo. At that insane speed, the riders lost control of their bikes, crashing hard onto the wet track. Bodies were flying, sliding through the gravel, and the slippery surface kept them going at crazy speeds. They bounced multiple times off the track in a wild show of motorbike madness. As more bikes joined the chaos, things got even more spectacular. Flames erupted in a fiery display down the valley. And get this, 11 riders got caught up in this incident, including some heavy hitters aiming for the championship. It was definitely a moment that shook up the racing scene. Imagine witnessing a motorcycle crash that makes you rethink what you consider the worst. Well, get ready for this shocker. Back in 2017 at Assen, during a Moto2 qualifying session, Lorenzo Baldesari had a mind-blowing crash that sent shivers down everyone's spine. Baldesari was pushing his bike to the limit during a flying lap, teetering on the edge of control. In a lightning-fast corner, he grazed the white line at the apex. Suddenly, his rear wheel lost all traction, leading to a high-side crash that was nothing short of insane. As the bike catapulted him into the air, Baldesari took a brutal hit when he landed, with his head bearing the brunt of the impact. The force was so intense that his helmet smashed into the ground, causing his entire body to bounce back into the air. Sliding down the track, his bike wasn't done yet. It crashed into him again, delivering another massive blow to his head. The impact was so severe that his visor even came off, and he was knocked out cold. The crash was so violent that the medical staff had to surround him with a tent, fearing the worst. Miraculously, Lorenzo Baldesari survived this nightmarish incident. Marc Marquez, a true legend in MotoGP with 6 world championships under his belt, has had his fair share of significant crashes. Let's dive into one of his most notable incidents. It all went down during the warm-up session for the 2022 Indonesian GP, and boy, was it a spectacle. As Marquez zipped through a series of high-speed corners, things took a sudden turn. The rear end of his bike decided to show off in a massive way, catching him off guard. He got launched so high into the air that he pulled off a complete head-over-heels flip before landing in an awkward position on his head and back. His head took a serious hit when he landed, and his body slid worryingly along the track. The impact was so severe that Marquez had to be quickly taken to a nearby hospital for comprehensive examinations, which uncovered a concussion. Despite the setback, the MotoGP medical team gave him the green light to continue the weekend, but he had to sit out the race. That wraps up our roller coaster journey through some of the wildest and craziest moments in motorcycle racing history. From jaw-dropping crashes to unexpected twists, these incidents remind us of the unpredictable nature of this high-stakes sport. If you enjoyed this video and want more thrilling content like this, don't forget to hit that like button below. And for a front row seat to all the action, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps us fueled and ready to bring you more stories from the world of motorbike racing. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride, and until next time, stay tuned for more high-speed excitement.